Today on She Is
Daria Vasileva, Bulgarian-born singer, songwriter, musician, composer, producer, dancer, choreographer, and designer. She chats with me about music, dancing, willpower, and what does it take to be a successful woman in the music industry.
Was there any point that you said, I just want to give up? It's too much hard work. I just want to go to accounting or something else.
No, actually.
Oh, that's
I
great.
always knew, yes, I always knew I want to stick with music. Singing and dancing and playing the piano, I always knew I love to be on the stage.
Daria Vasileva has been showing art talent at very early age. She began playing piano at the age of 6, but even then she knew she wanted to be a singer. After completing her degree in classical singing and winning the title Bulgarian Salsa Champion, her career took a turn. And today she is conquering the New York stage, working and recording with some of the biggest names in the industry.
Hi guys, welcome to the show. I'm Lucia Dragos and you're watching She Is. I have with me Daria Vasileva. She's not only a musician, songwriter, and a singer, but she's also a salsa dancer. Daria, welcome to the show and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to meet you. The first time I met you, your brother asked me to come and record the session that you had in the recording studio. And let me tell you, when I heard you singing, oh my God, I started dancing right away. Even John Benitez, I remember, he was like dancing. How that came about to work with John Benitez?
Well, my brother was working on his recording with him, and it was actually one of the rehearsals. I showed up at the end of the rehearsal and I sang not more than 5 seconds of my song.
Wow.
And then he liked my song, and that's how we ended up recording it together.
Wow, that was great. Are you still working with him? Or?
Yes, he's an amazing bass player, and yes, I have many songs which are coming up, and I hope that, yes, I'm looking forward to work with him.
That's great. Now, Maya Angelou said, people will not remember you for what you said or what you did, but they will remember you how you made them feel. Do you think that's especially true for a performer, that you have to make the people feel something instead of just looking at you and how you perform?
Yes, it's very important to show people your energy, to show what you feel at this moment, and to look at them and show how happy you are to be on stage. So that's how they get happy, by looking at you. And I think that was the reason us winning the Bulgaria Salsa Champion contestant.
Oh yeah, how that came about?
Yes.
Like what happened? So take me back, what happened when you were a child? When did you start having an interest in music?
So my brother, being 2 years older than me, started playing piano before me, and my parents bought a piano. That was very difficult at that time to get a piano. So, and the piano was at home anyway, so they assigned me to play the piano when I was 6. And ever since then, I have been involved with music, and yes.
And did you go studying music? What did you study?
I studied first, of course, the piano, and then I started with classical singing when I was around 16. And because I have been singing at the same time, playing the piano ever since I was a little girl.
Okay, so you started studying opera singing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then you started dancing salsa?
I know, it's crazy.
How? When? How?
Well,
Why?
actually, Bulgarian folk music has admitters and has kind of, it's not similar, but probably because of listening to Bulgarian folk music and this being my culture, I connected with Latin music. There is a connection somehow. So, and when I was around 17, I think, it was salsa became very popular in Europe, and they opened many clubs. And since me listening to Gloria Estefan all my life, then I started dancing, and then at first was just for fun. Then I started dancing professionally after.
Now I'm a big believer in a goal setting, and you have to always have a goal in mind in order to achieve it. Did you always have a goal in mind since you were a kid, how you want your career to go, like what career you wanted to achieve?
Yes, I always knew that I wanted to be a singer. Of course, this goal was there. The thing is that what kind of singer changed a little with experience and growing up. But yes, I always knew I wanted to be a singer, and I'm very lucky and happy to be doing what I always dreamed about.
So is that how you saw your career, what it is now?
Yes, yes. Yes, I came to, I was in Bulgaria doing my singing, dancing, playing the piano, and then of course, my dreams and goals started being bigger and bigger, and then I came to the United States. Yes.
You see, I started as a dancer, ballet, and then I switched to modern, but we never had mentors per se, but Maya Plisetskaya, the Russian ballerina, was always our role model. We were trying always to work hard so we can achieve her technique. Did you have, I know you studied with Rosa Mitova, but yes, was she your mentor, or you had some other role models that you were always trying to reach their level of technique?
Yes, my vocal teacher, Rosa Mitova, she was my mentor. She was an amazing teacher. She still is, and I'm very grateful to her for everything she taught me. She showed me how to sing correctly, how to control my voice, how to control my whole body, and I was just lucky to study with her.
So now you teach children, you teach piano. Do you mentor them sometimes?
I do all the time.
Now, how is that different? I know in Bulgaria the teachers are very tough.
Yes.
Are you that kind of a teacher?
Yes, actually, it just happened because I was taught this way, and then you have it in you. And yes, I can tell, I can say that I'm a strict teacher.
We'll take a little break, and when we come back, we'll talk more with Darren. Coming up next, you're a perfectionist. Do you think that's a must for a performer?
It's good to be perfectionist, definitely, because the higher your goal is, the more you push yourself and you try to jump higher.
If you're not tough, if you don't have a discipline and determination and obsession, you're going to quit.
That's right. You really need to push very
Yes.
hard, to be persistent
Yes.
all the time, to keep practicing. If something's not happening, don't give up. It's going to happen. Just don't give up. Keep practicing, and it's going to happen.
Now, I always believe that if a teacher is strict and the child gets scared by it and gives up, so probably that was not for him. I think if you really wanted something, you would stick with it even with a strict teacher. But sometimes, the parents get involved, and it's a different times now.
Yeah, that's
even in
right.
Bulgaria, teachers are not as they used to be.
Yes, my teacher actually was very strict with me, but I was so dedicated to what I wanted to do, and and never gave up. She was really strict, and now I'm very thankful to her that she was that strict. Here, me as a teacher, I play sometimes with the kids, we tell jokes, but I try to stick with the lesson and with the plan what we have to cover for the lesson.
Now, you came to New York about 10 years ago, is that right?
Yes.
Was it hard transition from Europe to New York?
Yes, it was very, very hard, very hard.
In what sense?
in any sense.
Language.
Yes, language, food, people, culture, everything. Everything was very hard.
Was that your dream to come to New York or not at all?
Yes, it was actually my dream to come to America. I didn't know that, but my brother was in New York at that time. So actually, when he literally pushed me, but I was doing my dancing actually that time in Bulgaria. And we were traveling to Europe for performances and competitions, and I was in a place where I was. It's on the stage all the time, of course, through dancing, not through singing, and I had a lot of gigs. And when he invited me to come, I wasn't sure and I wasn't ready to do it right away. But after he just convinced me. He said, the stage here is bigger and you should come. You must come.
I think you did the right choice.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Well, you had a hardship in New York, and I'm sure you struggled when you were a kid, and your parents struggled to pay for classes. I mean, they were very expensive. I'm from Bulgaria, and right? Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Was there any point that you said, I just want to give up? It's too much hard work. I just want to go to accounting or something else?
No, actually.
Oh, that's
I
great.
always knew, yes, I always knew I want to stick with music. Singing and dancing and playing the piano, I always knew I love to be on the stage and show people what I feel when I'm on stage.
So if you have to describe yourself, would you say you're a performer or you're a singer or you're a dancer?
Well,
I mean, performer, it includes everything, but
that's hard. That's
It's hard,
hard.
because you're great at everything. I mean, I've heard you sing, I
Thank
saw you dance, you're
Thank
amazing.
you. It's been hard work, though. Behind all this, it's
always-
dedication.
Yes.
Yes.
Would you say in New York it's harder for a woman performer compared to Europe?
Well, there's a lot of talent here. Like you literally go on the street and on every corner you can see someone singing and dancing and according to that, yes, and it's a big country and everyone is, yes, they're amazing singers and dancers and just musicians.
You mentioned you're a perfectionist. Do you think that's a must for a performer?
It's good to be perfectionist, definitely, because the higher your goal is, the more you push yourself and you try to jump higher.
So what advice would you give to the 15-year-old that wants to be you, that wants to be a performer? What is one thing in their character that they should develop?
Persistence.
Thick
And
skin
yes.
for rejection.
and to never give up, no matter what someone might say to you. You're not a good singer, you're not a good dancer, that's not what you should be doing. Don't listen. Trust yourself, trust your heart.
Now, what advice would you give to their parents?
To their parents, to sign for any instrument, because music is a completely different world. It gives you different feeling. It educates you to look at an art in a different way. To their parents, to be patient with their kids, because it's not easy to be a musician. It's not easy.
Right. Now, what is the best and worst advice that you've got?
The best advice, maybe to be myself.
Okay, that's a good one for a performer. Yes, you have to be authentic, you have to be yourself.
Yes.
But I think it's a process finding it. It took me a
Yes.
while to find my voice.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
And I think as early we start, and also parents, if they encourage their children to find their voice, to explore many things so they see where their children really want, in what direction they want to go.
Yes,
you
because
know?
when you're little, it's more difficult for
You
you.
don't know.
You don't know, yes,
Yeah.
what you want. But if parents are enough observant to see if the kid has talent and what talent exactly, and if they pushed a little bit,
Right.
then it's going to be, yes, very helpful for the kid.
Now, what was the worst advice?
Maybe to to put myself in boundaries, because for me, there's no boundaries to what. For me, it's not like this is wrong and this is right. It's about what you feel at this moment to do, and yes, trust yourself.
Now complete the statement referring to yourself. She is.
Dreamer.
Oh, that's a good one. She's a dreamer. You have to be.
You have
to
to be.
dream big. I always think that because
You
then
do.
the sky is the limit, or not the limit.
And perfectionist as well, and that's not always so good, because it bothers you a lot and you really want to better yourself all the time.
But you have to learn sometimes to jump.
Yes,
You
that's
know,
right.
before you're ready. Daria, thank you so much for joining me. It was
Thank
such a
you.
pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. I'm Lucia Dragos. See you next time on She Is.